What if I told you the entire modern world runs on a single drink? No, not oil, not Coca-Cola, coffee. The internet, Wall Street, every creative idea you've ever had at 7 a.m. powered by caffeine. It's the legal drug that built empires, sparked revolution, and still costs less than your Spotify subscription. But here's the plot twist. The people who grow it rarely get to drink it. The countries that produce it often don't profit from it. And the way you take your coffee says more about your culture than your taste buds. Because this isn't just a drink. It's an economic engine, a social ritual, and the most consumed obsessions on the planet right after the internet. So today we're not just drinking coffee, we're decoding it. From the mountains of Colombia to the streets of Bangkok to figure out how one little bean became the heartbeat of globalization. Coffee didn't start as a drink. It started as a mystery. Somewhere in the Ethiopian highlands, a goat herder named Kaldi noticed something weird. His goats were vibing. They were eating little red cherries off of a bush and dancing like they had just discovered electricity. Kaldi tried them himself, and suddenly, the world's first caffeine rush hit. That's the legend anyway. But the truth, those cherries changed the course of human history. Because from that moment on, coffee stopped being a plant and became a movement. It spread through Yemen, where monks drank it to stay awake during midnight prayers, then to Cairo and Mecca, where it powered conversations, trade, and gossip. By the 1500s, it hit Istanbul, and that's when things got wild. Coffee houses exploded across the Ottoman Empire. They called them schools of the wise, places where ideas brewed faster than the coffee itself. Poets, scholars, rebels, everyone gathered there. It was Wi-Fi before Wi-Fi, except with better aroma. Governments tried to ban it. Preachers called it sinful, but you can't outlaw curiosity or caffeine. So coffee kept spreading. It reached Venice, London, Paris, and eventually the New World, where the bean met capitalism and never looked back. And that's when Colombia enters the story, because while Europe was drinking it, Latin America was growing it. By the 18th century, Jesuit priests had planted the first coffee trees in the mountains, and a new kind of gold rush began. But this time it wasn't metal, it was flavor, and it was everywhere. In Colombia, coffee didn't become a product, it became an identity, a livelihood, a reason to get up before sunrise. Every family had a connection to it, in their land, their labor, or their kitchen. It wasn't luxury, it was life. From Ethiopia's wild cherries to Colombia's mountain farms, coffee had officially conquered the world. And it did it one conversation, one sip, and one sleepless night at a time. If coffee began as chaos, Italy turned it into order. Because in Italy, coffee isn't a beverage, it's a belief system. You don't get coffee, you do coffee. And there are rules, unspoken, sacred, unbreakable rules. Rule number 1, espresso only. Rule number 2, drink it standing up. Rule number 3, never, ever after lunch. You might think Italians are obsessed with coffee. They're not. They're obsessed with how you drink it. Because espresso here isn't just caffeine, it's choreography. You walk in, nod to the barista, drop your coin, and boom, a tiny porcelain cup slides towards you like it's on rails. You shoot it like an oath. 2 sips, maybe 3 if you're dramatic. Then you leave. Transaction complete. Faith restored. An espresso in Italy costs about €1, and that's not by accident. It's basically government protected. Even as prices climb for everything else, espresso stays sacred, untouchable, because coffee here isn't just a drink. It's part of the social contract. In Rome, businessmen in suits line up at the bar before heading to the office. In Naples, it's darker, stronger, a little burnt, like the city itself. And in Venice, coffee is a ritual you share with the ghosts of history. But here's what's wild. Italy didn't invent coffee. They perfected the experience of it. They turned a drink into a religion and then exported the gospel worldwide. Every Starbucks, every cafe chain, every overpriced latte you've ever had, they all trace their roots back to this moment. A crowded counter, a clinking cup, a single shot of pure culture. If Italy made coffee sacred, France made it dramatic. Because in France, coffee isn't about caffeine. It's about seeing. You don't drink it to wake up, you drink it to exist. A French cafe isn't just a place to sit, it's a stage. And every chair faces the street because the show is outside. Here, Coffee is not a rush. It's an intermission, a quiet protest against productivity, a permission slip to just be. At the counter, a quick espresso might cost €2, but if you sit down, take a table, look mysterious for a while, suddenly that same cup costs double, triple if you order with a view of the Eiffel Tower. Why? Because you're not paying for coffee. You're paying for time. And in France, that's the most expensive thing on the menu. Writers knew it. Sartre, de Beauvoir, Hemingway, they all treated cafes like offices for the soul. Ideas were currency. Conversations were art. Coffee was fuel and an excuse to stay all day. And here's the paradox. In a culture famous for sophistication, French coffee is fine. Good, not great, often over-roasted, slightly bitter, but that's the point. It's not about the drink, it's about the moment. You don't go to a Paris cafe for the perfect brew, you go to feel perfectly alive. Because in France, coffee isn't about taste, it's about theater. And everyone, even you, has a role to play. If France turned coffee into theater, Thailand turned it into street art. Here, coffee doesn't live in air-conditioned cafes with jazz and Wi-Fi. It lives on the sidewalk, between the sound of tuk-tuks, sizzling woks, and the scent of rain hitting hot pavement. This is Bangkok, where caffeine is performance. Every pour, every shake, every swirl of condensed milk is choreography. The barista doesn't stand behind a counter, dances behind a cart. He spins the kettle in one hand, ice scoop in the other, and somehow, while honking cars pass and scooters brush your shoulder, your drink appears like magic. They call it Oliang, Thai iced coffee. Dark, roasted with an inch of its life. Brewed strong, sweetened with condensed milk, poured over ice, and sealed in a plastic bag with a rubber band so you can hang it from your wrist. It costs about 35 baht, $1, but it comes with something Starbucks can't sell: character. In Thailand, coffee doesn't ask for quiet. It thrives in chaos. It's the taste of humidity, motion, and pure optimism. Every sip feels like a city that never sits still, bold, sweet, slightly unpredictable. Walk a few blocks and the styles shift. In Chiang Mai, hipster cafes roast single origin beans from the northern highlands. Baristas talk about notes of tamarind, smoke, and citrus like sommeliers in flip-flops. Meanwhile, just outside, a street vendor sells the same caffeine kick in a plastic cup for a fraction of the price. And you know what? Both are amazing. That's the beauty of Thailand's coffee scene. It doesn't care about status. It's democracy in a cup. Whether it's a barista with tattoos and $5,000 espresso machine, or an old woman pouring from a dented pot on a street corner, they're both serving the same thing: energy, joy, connection. Coffee here isn't about perfection. It's about expression. It's creative, chaotic, alive, like graffiti that melts in the sun. And somewhere between the ice, the sugar, and the thunder of the city, you realize this isn't just a drink. It's a portrait of Thailand itself. Colorful, sweet, unpredictable, and impossible to forget. If Thailand made coffee art, America made it a business model. Because in the US, coffee isn't just something you drink, it's something you wear. It's the paper cup with your name misspelled on it. It's the drive-through line at 7:45 a.m. that somehow still counts as me time. It's the $6 latte that says, "I'm productive, I promise." In America, coffee became the fuel for capitalism and the branding for identity. There's a coffee for every tribe. Cold brew for the gym crowd, pumpkin spice for nostalgia, black drip for the stoics, and oat milk for everything for the people who post about their morning routine before 9 a.m. Here, coffee isn't just caffeine, it's permission. Permission to grind, to hustle, to exist in overdrive. That's the paradox of the American cup. It's a comfort and a performance all at once. You drink it because you need to stay awake, but also because you need to signal that you are awake. Step into any big city, New York, LA, Seattle, the birthplace of the coffee chain empire. Coffee is everywhere, but not always about coffee. It's about speed, convenience, consistency. The idea that your cup should be the same in Manhattan, Miami, or Montana. Predictable, reliable, branded. And yet, underneath the marketing, the reward points, and the foam hearts, there's still something beautifully human. In small towns across the Midwest, diners serve bottomless mugs for $1.50. Truckers, teachers, retirees, everyone sharing caffeine and a conversation. No Wi-Fi, no logo, no grande, just warmth. literal and emotional. So maybe that's the real story. America turned coffee into a brand, yes, but it also democratized it, made it available to everyone, everywhere, at every hour, from the boardroom to the 3 a.m. diner. Because here, coffee isn't just how you start your day, it's how you keep going. And if the rest of the world drinks coffee to connect, America drinks it to keep the engine running. So, what does a cup of coffee actually tell us about a place? That depends on where you're standing. In Colombia, it tells the story of a family of generations who rise before the sun to handpick a harvest that fuels the planet. In Italy, it tells you that perfection isn't a goal, it's a habit, that beauty can fit inside a 1-ounce cup. In France, it whispers that life doesn't have to move fast to feel important, that sometimes the pause is the point. In Thailand, it shouts color and chaos, that creativity doesn't need a counter or a logo, just a little sugar, a lot of ice, and a smile. And in the United States, it reflects ambition, how caffeine became the unofficial anthem of a country that never stops moving. Everywhere you go, the drink stays the same: water, beans, heat. But the meaning changes completely because coffee isn't about what's in the cup, it's about the people holding it. It's the invisible thread between farmers and commuters, artists and executives, monks and students. It connects billionaires in boardrooms with baristas on street corners. It's both global and intimate, a ritual we all share even if we'll never meet. Think about it, the same plant that grew wild in the Ethiopian highlands now powers your Monday morning. The same ritual that kept monks awake for prayer now keeps the world awake for profit. The same beans that built economies still bring strangers together for 5 quiet minutes. Coffee isn't just a drink, it's the world's daily act of connection. Proof that even in our differences, we all start the day the same way. Half awake, half hopeful, chasing that first sip of meaning. So wherever you are, when you lift that cup, you're not just waking up, you're joining billions of people in the oldest global conversation there is. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps a small channel like ours out. And if you like more stuff like this, are interested in travel, in places to live around the world, in passive income, we have a newsletter called The Passport. It goes out every week. And basically, it has all of this information in it, and it's free. All you got to do is sign up for it. The link's in the description below. And we also have a monthly magazine, also called The Passport, also free to all of our email subscribers. This is Places to Go. I'm Matt, where every cup has a story. Take care.